How's it going, guys? It's Eclipse here, and today we have loads of news for you regarding the new updates coming in to World of Tanks. We've got a few things that Wargaming have given us for next week, so that's on the Tuesday section of this video. We're also going to go into a couple more details regarding a couple new premium tanks that are coming into the game. We're also going to have a look at what they talked about that wasn't mentioned on this as well. So there's plenty of new stuff coming in, so hopefully you guys are interested, and make sure, as always, to leave your comments in the comment section down below. So to begin with, obviously, we got a few things this week. We got the reduced XP requirement between researching tanks and XP requirement from Elite. So basically what they did is, now that you know, when you research multiple tanks from one tech tree, so say if you have a tier 9 that researches 3 tanks like the Conqueror does, so you've got the FV215B, you've got the Chieftain, and also the Super Conqueror going from that line. So from the Conqueror you can get 3 tanks. Basically what they've done is, now instead of them all costing a flat like 200 or 300,000 XP like they used to, now they'll actually have a reduced cost if you can get multiple tanks from one tech tree line. So say if I chose the Conqueror, I would then be able to actually get the Chieftain at a reduced XP research cost comparatively to other tier 10. So instead of it costing 300,000 silver, it may only cost 200,000 silver or 150,000 silver instead of that massive 300,000. That's obviously because they've done this weird thing where, like, you can't actually choose the tank that you want to actually research first. It's just that you now have to just grind out tanks that you might not even want before you even get the one that you're after. So unfortunately for people, that's what you'll have to do, but it does mean that now it will basically be at a much reduced cost than what it was previously, which is always good. So make sure that you're grinding towards tanks that will lead on to multiple tanks, because they'll basically be the fastest way of getting more tier 10s, is basically what this is regarding trying to get up there, because that means that you won't have to grind through to tier 9 as well. So remember that when you got the tanks that lead on to multiple from one. So we're looking at the Conqueror, we're looking at the what is it, Batchat 12T and stuff like that. So make sure you're doing that when you're having a look at what tank line you should grind next. We also got, as part of this, the radial command now shows on the minimap. So say if you ping somewhere on the map, it will basically ping on the minimap. Or if you spot an enemy or target an enemy, it will say where the enemy is on the map that you're pinging. It was like that previously. Don't know why they didn't just add that in when the update 6.0 first got released. It's just another one of those silly bugs, or not a bug, but just a feature that they removed that just shouldn't have been, the bodge job that it was in the form of update 6.0. Now we do have another thing. They fixed basically that bug where the tank icon was still there on screen, which was really, really annoying. And actually, it was just stopping me from playing. I just couldn't. It was too annoying. But luckily that's all fixed. So if you haven't been playing because of that bug, remember it has been fixed now. So you shouldn't see that in game anymore until the next update where they mess everything up again. As far as for Tuesday and next week, we've got a couple of things coming in. We've got a buff to the KV4 KTTS, so that the top radio of the tech tree KV4, the R113 with a 730 meter radius, is added instead of the 360. I mean, I have no idea why it would have that. As the base, it was probably an accident and not something that was probably intentional. So although it is a buff, it probably wasn't an intentional buff. They probably just meant to have this in the first place. Now, this is another thing. Wargaming basically, they didn't want to admit that the silver urn in Cold War, or like the post-war, so the very first one, was, it just wasn't there. Now they've basically made the 30% increase in silver permanent, so you will just gain an extra 30% more silver in the Cold War post-war permanently, so you'll be able to earn that much more every single time you play a battle, whether that be now, in 2 months' time, or 6 months, or 10 months. Whenever you watch this video, you will have been able to get that 30% increase as of Tuesday, like the 1st of March or something like that. Of June even, sorry. Next one, possible fix for original Xbox One X overheating. So this was a big problem. I know a couple of my friends are having this problem with their Xbox One X's with regards to just overheating and then the game crashing, which is really, really annoying. Obviously, it's to do with the smoke and the smoke things that they've actually got in game. Also, when your teammates may fire, it also creates the smoke, which seemed to actually cause it to overheat a lot more. Now, hopefully that gets addressed as soon as possible, because the worst thing is when you're playing a game and then suddenly it crashes because the game itself is just not optimized for your console. Now, another thing with wargaming, once again, being a bit sneaky here. Now, they've said that the new World War II Premium is the TS5, so we went over this in the previous video. It's this tank destroyer right here on screen. You can see it's like a T95, but at tier 8. This thing is like I think it's called, I can't remember, the Bone Shaker, I think. It's already in the game. It was part of the Hot Wheels season, if you guys remember that, or you've been playing. It's a weird one. You don't really see it in game that often, but basically the weak point of this tank is this very slim bar right here, frontally anyway, unless you've got like a decent penetration at tier 8, where you'll just pen this lower part of the front of the tank, which just makes the armor kind of irrelevant. But other than that, you can pen the cupola of this tank as well. And make sure that you aim at the side if you get it, basically. Out-traverse it, because it's not particularly the fastest tank, as with the T95 line. But yeah, it should be interesting for you to have a look at. If you want to pick it up, it's just a non-skinned version of the Bone Shaker. I forgot to mention that in my previous video on this new World War II Premium that you can pick up. I don't think it's going to be particularly amazing within the game, so I don't think you're missing out very much when you play it. Now, as far as other news, we did get a few things talked about. This was on the What Console Twitch stream, so if you want to have a look at that, you can. It's like a VOD type thing. You can just go back and watch it. But the main thing is that they're looking at a couple new things. So the key things being looking into features for clans. So if you're as part of a clan, they're trying to actually implement some sort of feature where you can compare statistics with another clan. Now, whether that be overall or individual basis, I don't know, but hopefully they'll actually bring that in. It will help with the clan system, because they've kind of dropped off recently. There isn't really much of a competitive clan scene going on right now, and I quite like to see that kind of come back, I guess, for those kind of people that are trying to, go for those crazy games against each other and really make a competitive scene out of World of Tanks console. Me personally, not too interested, but I suppose it could be there for people that are. We've got that they're adding more statistics to the detailed statistics page. I don't know if Wargaming have got this like the wrong end of the stick here. We're not asking for more statistics on the vehicles. We're asking for more statistics at the end of the game. Now, this is the problem. I don't know if they're just like mishearing us or mishearing the voice of the community. But it's not that we want more statistics on the detailed statistics page. That could be interesting. It's good. Blah blah blah. But it's this. It's the efficiency tab for the post-battle results. You want to see what kind of enemies you've hit, who you may have hit blind, what kind of things there are in the game. But that just doesn't seem to be like the priority. They seem to be focusing on the detailed statistics, which is not at all kind of what we're after, unless what they're saying here is that it's the actual statistics in the in like your profile instead of, so like how many marks of excellence you've got, etc, etc. Now, talking about marks of excellence, what they are trying to do now is displaying progress with marks of excellence. So you know what happened previously, you would have to actually get your first mark to even see it on the tank, and you can't even look at it in garage, so you can't check which tanks you're getting close to. Really, really annoying without actually playing the tank. Hopefully what they'll do is actually bring back the marks of excellence within the garage, and also being able to just see what percent you're at, whether you've actually got a first mark or not. I don't want to have to, you know, look at the tank without knowing that, and it certainly is something that they need to bring back for sure. What they're also talking about is adjusting the system, so I don't know how they'll work that, whether that will be in the form of actually changing how marks of excellence you can actually get it, or the formula, I don't know, but hopefully they don't completely radicalize it and make it something completely different. Really not interested in seeing that, and you can also vote on the poll next week, and hopefully we'll give some good feedback as to what marks of excellence and what should happen with them. You can do that on the Discord, is basically where that usually happens. Now, there are a couple of other improvements. So we've got general improvements to the UI, including Commander UI. So hopefully the actual Commander system works a lot better. So actually searching for your commanders within the game, hopefully that will come really, really quickly with regards to filter systems and being able to actually choose, say, if you want a French tank, or if it just filtered out the French tanks if you're looking at transferring a French commander into your tank, or so and so, depending on which nation of the tank that you have highlighted over. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen, so it's kind of annoying at the minute, and trying to just switch commanders between the various different tanks is an absolute pain in the backside, and hopefully they'll sort that out as soon as possible. Yep, as we said before, the efficiency tab for the post-battle results screen will return by the end of June, along with some PlayStation Pro adjustments to do with the resolution. So hopefully the actual graphics might look slightly better with a PS4 Pro. We don't know. Hopefully that will come for those of you who play on PlayStation, which is, I think, quite the majority of players now, actually, comparatively to Xbox. There's also the ability to change commander voices. They're thinking about it, and bringing back 2D commander customization, so being able to pick the nation, being able to pick the nation's crew voices. But you know, being wargaming, it's probably not monetization or not monetizable. So what they'll basically do is put it on like the back end of the priority list. It's not really anything that they'll look at in the near future, but maybe in the end, maybe in a year's time, that might actually come back as a good feature for the community. But even then, I doubt that will probably even get into the game now, considering they're just looking at 3D commanders. Couple of other things. Basically, you know, I mentioned the Italian heavies are coming soon. That will basically be coming out very, very soon. So with regards to the Italian heavies, keep an eye out. I think it will probably be at the start of next season, or what it will most likely be is what they'll do on season launch. They'll release a Italian heavy tank, probably the Rhinoceronte, the tier 8 Italian auto reloading heavy tank. That'll come into the game, and then what will happen as part of the season pass, I almost bet you 13,000 gold, you have to pick it up as part of the ultimate season pass. You'll get that, then 2 weeks later the Italian heavies will come into the game. Good monetization strategy. You saw it with the Polish ones as well, with the CS52 lists in the game. Now, so that's what I'd expect. So end of next season, 2 weeks after, Italian heavy tanks probably coming into the game. As far as a couple of other things, they're working on the gun barrel raising bug, so, you know, where it's suddenly in the middle of the air, which is super annoying, and hopefully that will be sorted out real quickly. They have got someone dedicated to working on that, so that's always good. Now, the second premium tank that they're talking about is the E75TS. So this is this tank right here. This is also a Hot Wheels tank that came as part of the Hot Wheels season a couple of months ago, probably 6 months ago actually. But you can see what it is it's basically an E75 hull with a Lerva turret at tier 8. Now, it's interesting, it goes a decent speed as well, so you can see here this is the non-skinned version. If you've seen it in game, it's the Roger Dodger, so if you've seen that tank, that is basically what this is. It's an E75 hull with spaced armour on the side and a Lerva turret with a Lerva cupola and a pretty weak lower plate, I'm not going to lie. So this tank is actually, what's special about it, well, it can go 45 kilometers an hour, which is actually really fast for a heavy tank, especially a German one. Really, really good. If you whack on the engine boost, which I've done in my Roger Dodger, and put on a ramming build, it is really, really fun to just stomp into some mediums that just don't expect you to just YOLO them in a tank like this, which is really, really fun. But I don't think it's necessarily the most competitive one, but it can be used really, really well. 360 alpha, 2000 DPM. It's a good, solid heavy tank at tier 8, so if you're interested in that, maybe purchase it when it comes out, but they've not set like a deadline or anything like that. Now, within the stream, they also talked about one other thing, which is the Russian double-barreled tanks, and that's kind of the latter half of this video here. And what the Russian double-barreled tanks are, I mean, by the name, you'll probably get it, is that they have 2 barrels. Now, this is a really, really cool thing that I would love to see in World of Tanks console. They're interesting tanks on PC. Yes, they're probably not that realistic, but what they are is interesting. They're fun to play. There'll be something, a breath of fresh air for the World War II game mode. Really, really can't say enough how much I want to see these on World of Tanks console. Really, really do want them in the game. They'll be interesting to play. They basically have this mechanic where you can either fire one of the rounds in your tank simultaneously, so you can actually fire 2 rounds at the same time at a single target, and you can do basically double the damage of the alpha on the tank. So say if I've got 300 alpha with one of the guns, because I've got 2 of them, I can fire a double barrage of 600 damage in total. So there's 2 shots coming out of the tank at the same time. The accuracy gets slightly worse, I think, but what it does do is it will be fun, and you could choose when you want to do that. You do have to charge it up in order to actually fire them both at the same time, or you can just fire them on each, like basically on their own. So you can fire one, then you can fire the other, and like it will reload or the one that you've just fired. So it's better to fire in single shot. But if you fire them both at once, you can take out some enemies maybe that were on lower health that you wouldn't be able to just take out in one shot. So kind of a bit of a trade-off with regards to these kind of tanks. There are 3 of them, and they come in at tier 7, or they come in at tier 8, but you have to play the KV3, so that's the tier 7. So if you want to grind out some XP with regards to the double barrel tanks, I'm not saying that they're coming anytime really soon, but what they will do is they will come around this kind of time. They've not given an official date, but I would expect, I think what they did say was late summer, early autumn is when the double barrel tanks are more than likely going to come into the game. It is wargaming console, so be sure to think it could be longer, it could be until Christmas before we get them, but make sure to just think about that. If you want to grind out some XP on the KV3, you'd probably need about 50,000 XP to research the IS-2 if you already have the KV3 upgraded fully. So make sure if you want the IS-2 straight away on launch that you grind up some XP on the KV3 and repurchase that in your garage if you want to get that. So yeah, interesting tanks to have a look at. The tier 10 being the ST2, which is a tier 9 STI but with the double barrel mechanic, so you get the trade-off with regards to its armor model and also the speed and all of the various things, but you do get the gun of the tank upgraded to have this kind of new feature, and they can be really fun on PC, so I'd expect them to be no different on the console version. Now that's everything for this week and all of the update news and information that we got as part of the update news kind of video or Twitch stream yesterday as of Friday. So yeah, really interested to see what's coming. Not too much information there with regards to guaranteed stuff, but there's a lot of stuff for the future and the content for the future that is interesting. So hopefully we get that all. Double barrel tanks coming in, the new premiums coming in, the TS5 and the E75 TS. We've got the post-battle results screen, hopefully getting better detail statistics, marks of excellence system rework maybe, and yeah, so I'd love to hear your thoughts on all of that, and I hope to see you in the next video. Obviously you can check out some other content on screen right now. There's plenty of different guides and gameplay and update news videos and what tanks are best and stuff like that on the channel, so if you want to have a look at that then you can do. Other than that, I hope you have a great rest of your day and I hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye.